Okay, let's unpack this. Eurovision 2025, November Monday. What the hell just happened?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
on paper, it really felt like the UK brought something exciting this year. High energy, a song that kind of sticks,
Mm-hmm.
and then you look at the scoreboard,
Mm,
a surprising 19th place.
right.
So today, we're not just like scratching the surface. We're taking a proper deep dive into their entry.
Everything, yeah. The song, the performance.
Exactly. The staging, which was quite something, and, well, the reactions that left a lot of us sort of scratching our heads.
And what's really interesting here is the material we've got to work with. There's this detailed review looking at basically everything.
Okay.
The lyrics, how they performed it live, the visuals, and crucially, how the audience and critics reacted. So
Yeah.
our mission really is to try and figure out this apparent contradiction.
Yeah, how can a performance that so many people thought was a highlight end up with a result that feels
Yeah.
well off?
Especially that massive gap, between the jury scores and then nothing from the public televote.
Exactly. So let's start right at the beginning. The song itself, what the hell just happened?
Mm-hmm.
It's described as high-energy country pop, which, okay, straight away tells you it's maybe not your typical Eurovision fare, perhaps.
A bit of a blend, yeah.
Yeah.
And the lyrics, they paint this really vivid picture, don't they? This chaotic night out.
That's right. Lines like, someone lost a shoe, I'm still in last night's makeup.
Yeah, and what's this new tattoo? It's that kind of very specific, slightly messy storytelling. Feels quite relatable, I think.
You can picture it.
Mm.
But if you look at the bigger picture, the review talks about this feeling of, like, celebration and release.
Yeah, it's not really about regretting the chaos. It's more about embracing that freedom, letting go.
Almost like shaking off a bad year, or the review mentions getting over an ex, that kind of vibe.
Exactly. And it seems the band felt that, too. They apparently called the song quite autobiographical.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, reflecting their own friendship, supporting each other through, well, messy times, I suppose.
Which you'd think adds that layer of, genuine feeling to the performance. The review even compares it a bit to Katy Perry's Last Friday Night.
Right, that sort of rapid-fire, witty, lyrical style. Very narrative.
You can almost see the music video playing out. But thinking about Eurovision, does that kind of detailed story always hit home with a huge international audience, people hearing it just once?
That's a really good question. I mean, in pop music, you get repeat listens, right? You pick up the story. Eurovision, it's got to land more immediately, maybe.
Yeah, perhaps. Okay, so let's shift to the live performance then, in Basel, because this is where a lot of people felt the UK really delivered.
Definitely. This trio, Lauren, Holly-Ann, and Charlotte, they've got this background in musical theater at the West End.
Ah, okay.
And you could apparently really hear that training. The review mentions their pinpoint precision, especially in those complex three-part harmonies.
Right, and it wasn't just, like, technically correct, it was the quality. There's a quote here saying all three could really, really sing. Powerful vocals, lion-hearted even.
Wow, okay. And it wasn't just power, was it? The harmonies themselves. Conchita Wurst apparently praised your confidence and how in sync they were.
A Eurovision winner noticing that.
Yeah.
That says a lot about their technical skills, surely.
It really does. And then beyond the vocals, their stage presence. Described as really confident, you could see the chemistry, probably comes from performing together for, what, a decade?
Yeah, that makes sense. They looked like they were actually enjoying it, didn't they? Big smiles, loads of energy.
You felt genuine, which for UK fans watching must have felt like a breath of fresh air, seeing that confidence up there.
Totally. And a strong live show is usually seen as so important for Eurovision, isn't it? Making that connection.
Absolutely crucial. So, yeah, the fact that the vocals and the stage presence got such positive reactions makes that zero from the public even more, well, puzzling.
It really does stack up that way. Okay, so vocals delivered, stage presence strong. What about the look, the whole visual side of things?
Right, the staging. They brought in Ace Bowerman. You mentioned the big names, Dua Lipa, Blackpink.
So you expect something slick, something visually impactful.
And the idea seemed to be constant movement, keeping the camera and the audience engaged. And the centerpiece was that huge chandelier.
Which was a very literal take on the lyric, right? Falling from the chandelier.
Exactly. Very direct visual storytelling there. And they were dancing around it, using it as a prop.
And there was that little nod to Eurovision history, too, wasn't there? The costume thing.
Oh, yeah, the dress reveal. Ripping off parts of the costumes like Bucks Fizz did way back in '81 with the skirts.
That's clever. Shows they know the contest, know the fans who like those little details.
It's a nice touch, isn't it? And the overall feel, the review describes it as sort of whimsical, almost like a storybook party vibe, oversized candles, that sparkling chandelier.
Creating a whole atmosphere. And Bowerman apparently said the goal was to make viewers feel like they want to be a part of this band.
Which suggests a very immersive kind of staging, trying to draw you in.
And generally, people liked it, right?
Right.
Fans, commentators, words like brilliant, fitting were used for the staging.
Yeah, the feedback on the visual production seemed overwhelmingly positive. It seemed to match the song's energy.
So, okay, let's recap. We've got strong vocals, great stage presence, engaging visuals, and nod to history. This just makes that final result even more, well, stark.
Absolutely. Finishing 19th overall with 88 points, every single one from the juries, and then that big 0 from the public televote for the second year running for the UK, actually.
Ouch.
Yeah.
And the fan reaction online, it was pretty strong, wasn't it? People defending the performance.
Oh, definitely. Lots of comments calling it sensational, saying it absolutely didn't deserve 0 points from the public. Things like, the girls were brilliant, I was so proud. You could feel the disappointment, even a bit of anger, I think.
Understandably, if you love the performance. So let's look at the critics. Maybe that helps explain the gap. What was the general feeling there?
It was mixed, which might be key. So on the one hand, lots of praise for the boldness, the talent, the energy. People noted the catchy hooks, the harmonies we talked about. And some critics picked up on those clever little nods to British pop, like an Elton John piano bit, a George Michael Freedom 90 kind of callback, things the juries might appreciate.
Ah, okay. So the musical references landed with some people. But what about the negative side?
Well, the main criticism seemed to be that maybe it was trying to do too much, that it felt a bit busy.
Too many ideas crammed in.
Kind of. The review quotes someone saying it was hard to latch onto because it felt like an almost brand new song every 30 seconds. Whiplash, they called it.
Right. And Mark Savage at the BBC, he called it a manic mishmash of musical styles, suggesting that maybe, in trying to be clever, it lost some of that broad mainstream appeal.
That seems to be the crux of the negative critique, that the rapid shifts, the genre hopping, might have stopped people connecting with one clear, memorable hook quickly.
Which kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
Mm.
Juries, they're music professionals. They might hear that complexity, appreciate the vocal skill, the genre blending, the references.
They're listening perhaps with a different ear, yeah. They might reward the ambition, the technical execution. Italy gave them 12 points, remember? The top score.
That's right. So the juries clearly saw something impressive.
But maybe for the average viewer at home, watching 26 songs, needing something to grab them instantly,
It needs to be more immediate.
possibly. Perhaps that constant shifting, that manic mishmash, just made it harder for a casual listener to sort of find their footing with the song in those 3 minutes. To feel that instant connection, you need to pick up the phone and vote.
So putting it all together, remember, Monday definitely brought a performance that was, polished, energetic, vocally strong, visually engaging.
No doubt about the effort and talent on display.
But the song itself, while ambitious and packed with clever bits that the juries liked, that very adventurousness, the style switching, might have just made it a bit polarizing for the wider public, leading to that really dramatic split in the votes.
Yeah, that seems to be the most plausible explanation based on the reviews and the result. Which leaves us, and you listening, with a really interesting thought, doesn't it?
Go on.
Well, what does this whole situation tell us about how music is judged maybe in a competition like Eurovision? Is there just a fundamental difference between what appeals to industry experts and what grabs the public vote?
Could a song actually be too clever or too complex for its own good in this specific context, trying so hard to impress musically that it forgets that immediate gut-level connection?
Exactly. Something for you to think about, maybe. How do we balance that artistic ambition or complexity with the need for broad, immediate appeal, especially when you've only got 3 minutes to win people over?